A countryman's son by accident trod upon a serpent's tail, which turned and bit him so that he died. The father in a rage got his axe, and pursuing the serpent, cut off part of its tail. So the serpent in revenge began stinging several of the farmer's cattle and caused him severe loss. Well, the farmer thought it best to make it up with the serpent, and brought food and honey to the mouth of its lair, and said to it, "Let's forget and forgive. Perhaps you were right to punish my son, and take vengeance on my cattle, but surely I was right in trying to revenge him. Now that we are both satisfied, why should not we be friends again?" "No, no," said the serpent, "take away your gifts. You can never forget the death of your son, nor I the loss of my tail. Injuries may be forgiven, but not forgotten." It happened that a fisher, after fishing all day, caught only a little fish. "Pray, let me go, master," said the fish. "I am much too small for your eating just now. If you put me back into the river I shall soon grow, then you can make a fine meal off me." "Nay, nay, my little fish," said the fisher, "I have you now. I may not catch you hereafter. A little thing in hand is worth more than a great thing in prospect." In one school the teacher was a monk. Most of all he loved to have a snack and a nap afterwards. Every time before the lessons he ate so much that he could barely move. Soon after the beginning of the lessons he always took a nap and slept until the bell for the end of the lesson sounded. The son of a poor villager was a student in the same school. His name was Li. One time Li asked the monk, "Teacher, may I ask you why do you sleep in all our lessons?" "My friend," replied the monk without any embarrassment, "it just seems that way. During these minutes I meet with Buddha and listen to his wise words. That's why I try to sleep as much as I can." One time Li took care of his sick father during the night and fell asleep at school in the morning. He slept so deeply that he didn't hear the bell, which woke the monk. When the monk saw the sleeping boy, he got very angry, took Li by the ear and started screaming, "Ah, you, little weasel! How dare you fall asleep in my class?" "Teacher," said Li, "it just seemed that I slept. I was with Buddha and listened to his wise words." "And what did the all-powerful Buddha say to you?" "The all-powerful Buddha told me, and never in my life have I seen your teacher." At one time the fox and the stork were on visiting terms, and seemed very good friends. So the fox invited the stork to dinner, and for a joke put nothing before her but some soup in a very shallow dish. This the fox could easily lap up, but the stork could only wet the end of her long bill in it, and left the meal as hungry as when she began. "I am sorry," said the fox, "the soup is not to your liking." "Pray do not apologize," said the stork. "I hope you will return this visit, and come and dine with me soon." So a day was appointed when the fox should visit the stork, but when they were seated at table all that was for their dinner was contained in a very long-necked jar with a narrow mouth, in which the fox could not insert his snout, so all he could manage to do was to lick the outside of the jar. "I will not apologize for the dinner," said the stork, "one bad turn deserves another."
The lion and the fox went hunting together. The lion, on the advice of the fox, sent a message to the ass, proposing to make an alliance between their two families. The ass came to the place of meeting, overjoyed at the prospect of a royal alliance. But when he came there, the lion simply pounced on the ass, and said to the fox, "Here is our dinner for today. Watch you here while I go and have a nap. Woe betide you if you touch my prey." The lion went away and the fox waited, but finding that his master did not return, ventured to take out the brains of the ass and ate them up. When the lion came back he soon noticed the absence of the brains, and asked the fox in a terrible voice, "What have you done with the brains?" "Brains, your majesty. It had none, or it would never have fallen into your trap. Wit has always an answer ready." Many years ago, the fish used to live on the land. He was a great friend of the leopard, and frequently used to go to his house in the bush, where the leopard entertained him. Now the leopard had a very fine wife, with whom the fish fell in love. And after a time, whenever the leopard was absent in the bush, the fish used to go to his house and spend some time with the leopard's wife, until at last an old woman who lived near informed the leopard what happened whenever he went away. At first the leopard would not believe that the fish, who had been his friend for so long, would play such a low trick, but one night he came back unexpectedly, and found the fish and his wife together. At this the leopard was very angry, and was going to kill the fish, but he thought as the fish had been his friend for so long, he would not deal with him himself, but would report his behavior to the king. This he did, and the king held a big meeting, at which the leopard stated his case quite shortly, but when the fish was put upon his defense he had nothing to say, so the king addressing his subjects said, "This is a very bad case, as the fish has been the leopard's friend, and has been trusted by him, but the fish has taken advantage of his friend's absence, and has betrayed him." The king, therefore, made an order that for the future the fish should live in the water, and that if he ever came on the land he should die. He also said that all men and animals should kill and eat the fish whenever they could catch him, as a punishment for his behavior with his friend's wife.
In the old days, men used to worship stocks and stones and idols, and prayed to them to give them luck. It happened that a man had often prayed to a wooden idol he had received from his father, but his luck never seemed to change. He prayed and he prayed, but still he remained as unlucky as ever. One day in the greatest rage he went to the wooden god, and with one blow swept it down from its pedestal. The idol broke in two, and what did he see? An immense number of coins flying all over the place.
In a field one summer's day a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along with great toil an ear of corn he was taking to the nest. "Why not come and chat with me?" said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and moiling in that way?" "I am helping to lay up food for the winter," said the ant, "and recommend you to do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper, "we have got plenty of food at present." But the ant went on its way and continued its toil. When the winter came the grasshopper had no food and found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants distributing everyday corn and grain from the stores they had collected in the summer. Then the grasshopper knew, it is best to prepare for the days of necessity.
The hart was once drinking from a pool and admiring the noble figure he made there. "Ah," said he, "where can you see such noble horns as these, with such antlers? I wish I had legs more worthy to bear such a noble crown, it is a pity they are so slim and slight." At that moment a hunter approached and sent an arrow whistling after him. Away bounded the hart, and soon, by the aid of his nimble legs, was nearly out of sight of the hunter, but not noticing where he was going, he passed under some trees with branches growing low down in which his antlers were caught, so that the hunter had time to come up. "Alas! Alas!" cried the hart, "we often despise what is most useful to us." Once upon a time in a lush green forest, there lived a wise old owl named Oliver. He was known for his knowledge and often helped the other animals when they faced challenges. One day, a young rabbit named Ruby approached him, looking distressed. "Oliver, I want to be the fastest runner in the forest," Ruby said. "But I always lose to the other rabbits." Oliver thought for a moment and replied, "Speed is important, but it's not everything. You must also learn to be clever and resourceful." Determined to improve, Ruby practiced not just her running but also her problem-solving skills. She learned to navigate obstacles and think on her feet. When the next race came, she faced a tricky course filled with twists and turns. While the other rabbits focused solely on speed, Ruby used her newfound skills to outsmart them, finishing the race first. From that day on, Ruby understood that while speed was valuable, cleverness and resourcefulness could lead to success in ways she never imagined. And so, she became not just the fastest runner but also the wisest in the forest. The moral of the story is that true success comes from a combination of skills, not just one alone.